Hi, my name is Justin Miles. I'm the lead IT security analyst at St. Vex, and this is our cybersecurity awareness presentation. On our agenda today, we have our introduction to cybersecurity, what is cybersecurity, our three main areas of compromise, why is cybersecurity important, threat types, examples of threats, next steps in the rollout process, introduction to Beauceron, review a course and how to add new courses and additional supplemental materials, how to get support moving forward via KB articles, services, and video, questions, and of course, at the end of all of this, we're going to be sending out a feedback survey. And of course, we appreciate your participation in our presentation and completing our survey. So, what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting systems, networks, and programs from digital attack. These cyber attacks are usually aimed at the following: accessing, changing, or destroying sensitive information, extorting money from users, and interrupting normal business process. The three main areas of compromise are people, processes, and technology. Let's start first with people. Users must understand and comply with basic data security principles like choosing strong passwords, being wary of attachments in email, and backing up data. Under processes, organizations must have a framework for how they deal with both attempted and successful cyber attacks. And lastly, technology. Technology is essential to giving organizations and individuals the computer security tools needed to protect themselves from cyber attack. Of our three main areas of compromise, people is generally the most targeted area of compromise, as weaknesses in our organization are usually exploited through people. And to no one's surprise, processes and technology are not as exploited as they once were in previous decades. Now the focus is on people. So, what a hacker or a bad actor will do is they will attempt to compromise the individual, by which they use the individual's credentials or the individual's platform, be it Windows, Mac, or another platform, to then move their attack into the organization, thereby bypassing most and a lot of our processes and technology. We will explain this in a little more detail further in the presentation, specifically when we focus on spam emails, phishing emails, and spear phishing emails. So why is cybersecurity important? At an individual level, a cybersecurity attack can result in everything from identity theft to extortion attempts to the loss of important data like family photos. Everyone relies on critical infrastructure like power plants, hospitals, and financial service companies. Securing these and other organizations is essential to keeping our society functioning. Cybersecurity plays an important role in all the above infrastructures that I had mentioned, such as power plants, hospitals, and financial services, not to mention our own organization here and the post secondary education sphere. All of our institutions have a cybersecurity component to them because in today's world, everything is connected. There are computer systems everywhere that have broad reaching effects. So if these systems were compromised through a breach of some sort, the ramifications could be quite large depending on the organization that was compromised. Of our major threat types, we have, I'm going to list four here: phishing, ransomware, malware, and social engineering. Phishing is the practice of sending fraudulent emails that resemble emails from a reputable source. The aim is to steal sensitive data like credit card numbers and logon information. Ransomware is a type of malicious software. It is designed to extort money by blocking file access to your computer system until the ransom is paid. Malware is a type of software designed to gain unauthorized access or to cause damage to a computer. Social engineering is a tactic that adversaries use to trick you into revealing sensitive information. They can solicit monetary payment or gain access to your confidential data. Let's go into a little more detail here of the various threat types. Phishing, for example, has two main types of phishing. Well, actually, there's three. We could say spam, we can say phishing, and we can say spear phishing. Spam is that typical email you receive that seems to be junk, that's kind of broadcast everywhere. Your phishing email is an email that may be sent to a more specific group type. So let's say SantaVex users. And spear phishing may be very specific, something sent directly from what appears to be, let's say, a superior to one of their reports. So something from, say, a CEO to a secretary or an executive assistant, usually with detailed information very specific to their target. So something to the nature of, hey, I know I'm currently traveling, and I know you're available to send us some money. We need some money for, a trip that may have gone wrong. That's a pretty good example of a spear phishing attack. Ransomware will typically infect a PC with a known technological exploit, or they come in through a known exploit that somebody may download and run, not to their you know not to their knowledge. What a ransomware will do is it will encrypt, which is basically like putting a lock on all of the files on their local computer. Then they request payment, usually through Bitcoin or some kind of virtual currency that's unable to be tracked. They'll request this transfer be done, in which case they will send you the unlocking keys to the encryption that they may have laid on your PC. We're not typically able to work around this. Once a system has been compromised with a ransomware, the only way really to get your data back is to get the encryption key some way, which is typically a payment. But the more we do that, the more it emboldens the hackers to continue this type of attack going on in the future. And there's no guarantee once you pay that you're able to actually get your system unlocked. Next, we have malware. Malware is typically attached to a piece of software that may look legitimate, but in fact has been compromised in some way. I'll give you an example. Let's say you were to go to the Adobe website and attempt to download Adobe PDF Reader. Pretty common tool. A lot of folks use it on their home PCs. And just as an example, not saying this has ever happened, but as an example, let's say that the Adobe site was compromised by bad actors, or hackers in this case. They may have modified the Adobe Reader so that it includes a type of malware with their software. The point of this malware might be to screen capture every 5 seconds and send the data out. It may be intended to capture your keystrokes or a keylogger, in which case that data may be sent out as well. So when we download software and we install and we go different places on the internet, we want to make sure that we're going to reputable sites and that we're downloading software that is reputable from their official distribution locations, so that we do not get caught with a malware that may try to circumvent the security of your PC. And last but not least, the biggest threat type in our modern times is social engineering, especially with the rise of social media. Social engineering can be used to try and gain access to your account by tricking you into revealing some important component, say a username, a password, some kind of credential, things of this nature. So there are a couple of social engineering attacks that people may be familiar with. We'll go with an email scam that may be coming in looking to gain access to your SantaVex account, saying, hey, we're the IT team, we're doing an audit of everybody's accounts. Can you please provide us your username and password? This is something that would be considered a social engineering attack, combined with a spear phishing attack, going after you as a specific entity using the Sainovex IT department kind of as their leverage to try and trick you into releasing that critical information. Next up, we have examples of threats. We have 4 examples we're going to use: MacEwan University, University of Calgary, Pearson data breach, and the Canada student loan data loss. Let's start off with MacEwan University. This was a scam, a social engineering attack. This was a spear phish that was sent to university employees with the intent of changing the destination of funds that were intended for a construction project. Upwards and perhaps beyond, $11.4 million was sent to a fraudulent email account. So what was happening was a construction project was ongoing. The known email address of this construction company was changed. They mailed in and said, we have a new email address. We're going to be using this for future communication. And in that new email, they indicated a new location that funds were going to be sent for payment of the construction project. Several payments were made to the new payment method, and subsequently, $11.4 million was sent to the wrong recipient. This is an example, a pretty bad one, of how a spear phishing email was accepted as truthful by the recipient and then acted upon without verification with the construction company, that this was indeed their new email address and the payment methods having been changed. Second up, we have the University of Calgary ransomware attack. An unauthorized third party was able to gain access to the email servers of the university, at which point they then used a ransomware attack to encrypt the files contained within. The university ultimately paid the ransom and were given the decryption keys so they could once again access their email. So this was both a targeted attack and a technological attack. They breached in somehow using a technology exploit to gain access to the email system. Once they were into the email system, they encrypted it, basically locking it, and then requesting payment to unlock the email system so that staff and faculty could regain access back to their emails again. It's another example of a pretty bad one. Next, we have the Pearson data breach, which was a targeted attack. Pearson is the company that does a lot of online courses and exams. The company discovered approximately 13,000 educational institutions, AIMS web accounts, were breached by an unknown individual. There could be thousands of individual student accounts within each one of those AIM WebS accounts. Different institutions, leaving the total numbers of victims potentially unclear. Lastly, this is one some folks here may be familiar with, was the Canada student loans data loss. Now, this one is both a social engineering attack. It's kind of a social engineering attack. You'll see as I explain. On November 5th, 2012, the National Student Loan Service Center lost an external hard drive that contained personal information of individuals who were student loan borrowers between 2000 and 2007. So this is an example of putting confidential information on an external hard drive and having that lost. So in this case, we would call that a, quote, social engineering attack, as someone was able to use their position or their privilege to obtain documents or information that was not necessarily bound for them or may not be their responsibility. They then took it outside the organization in which it was either lost or compromised in whichever way. So this is another example of threat, one more structured in the physical world, but one we still have to consider as a threat mechanism. So be aware of any drives or confidential information you may have on sources and who has access to those sources. Next, we have our rollout of Beauceron and our next steps. Behind the scenes, you're going to be added to a security group and a division within the software. This is going to trigger a welcome email inviting you to the system. The welcome email is as follows. I'm going to leave this up on the screen for approximately 30 seconds. Feel free to read through the email and pause if necessary. You can come back when you're done. Our rollout of Beauceron will continue as follows. You will be invited to complete a survey via email once complete. When you log in, you'll be taken through a tour of the software. There are 4 courses that are automatically going to be assigned to each user. After those 4 are complete, a phishing campaign will take place. Please report all phishing emails to IT. There is a how-to on the IT security page. You have the ability to enroll in additional courses if desired. We encourage continued participation. We'll also be soliciting feedback through an online survey, and of course, we appreciate any and all feedback. Without further ado, let's jump into a demo of the Beauceron website. As indicated, you will see the welcome email from Beauceron. Please click the applied link. Login to the Beauceron website is going to be your full email address at STFX. Pick your account and log in. This is your Beauceron dashboard. On the left-hand side, you're going to see your to-do lists, show your modules, and items that need immediate attention will appear on the top. By clicking any of the outstanding courses, this will take you to your Education tab. Bottom left shows courses recommended by your organization. Let's go back to the summary and click through the tabs of our dashboard. First up is Education. Education shows the courses that are available to you. Phishing and Exposure shows phishing simulations sent to your email and your exposures. Incidents and Rewards show email incidents that you reported and rewards associated with your phishing. Moving back to summary, we can see we have a score in the middle. Reporting phishing emails will lower your risk score. To add more courses, proceed back to Education and click on Add More. This will bring you to a grid view or table view of the courses which are available. Click Enroll. It'll ask if you wish to add this course. Click OK. And go back to your dashboard. And if you pop back into your Education, you will see the newly enrolled courses appear here under our Education tab. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out or create an IT support ticket. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.